Hey guys, welcome to a new video. Like, comment and subscribe if you enjoy. Without any further interruptions, enjoy the What If. Chapter 27 Pushed to the Limits. What do I do? He's in no condition to fight anymore, of course. I'll just take him to the hospital, she thought, her panicking mind not being able to consider what would normally be something very obvious. Throwing her hit-eye away to avoid any attacks due to her Suna forehead protector, she was just about to lift a panting, burning with fever Naruto when a red-haired man suddenly landed a few meters away from her, making her eyes widen. Capture Uzumaki Naruto. Kill everyone else, muttered Roshi to himself as if he was a programmed puppet, his eyes blank as the Iwa Jinchuriki slowly started walking towards the pair. This should be interesting, the cloaked white-haired female thought with a serious expression as she continued to observe Naruto from the roofs, miraculously no one being able to spot her presence until now. No, stay away, yelled Temari as she hugged Naruto closer to her, tears in her eyes while Roshi just continued to slowly walk forwards with a blank expression on his face. Temari, go, leave, muttered Naruto while panting, his vision blurry while he could no longer hear Ayumi's voice. It was like the link between them had been severed somehow. Naruto-kun, your eyes. They're bleeding now, she said while wiping the blood stream from both of his cheeks with her trembling hands, whereas Naruto had his eyes clenched shut as the blonde continued to pant. What's going on? Somebody, please, Ka-san, the blonde thought in desperation as he clenched Temari's hand tighter to his while trying to use his remaining chakra, but he knew that it was getting useless considering his chakra control was slipping too. Capture Uzumaki Naruto. Temari's eyes widened when her form was shadowed. Lifting her head, she saw the stone face of Roshi, whose eyes looked blank as he just continued to stare at Naruto, who had his blood-laced eyes clenched shut. Please, what do you want? Just leave him alone, said Temari as she continued to hold Naruto's head to her chest while the only response she got was same as before. Capture Uzumaki Naruto. I have to protect Naruto-kun. I just can't let him be captured, especially by Iwa, she thought while sneakily grabbing her fan which was laying beside her, whereas Roshi continued to stare at Naruto. Take this, Temari yelled before swinging her fan swiftly, creating a strong gust of wind making the Iwa Jinchuriki fly back, who gracefully flipped in midair before landing on the sand with ease. Releasing Naruto's head from her arm, she put the panting blonde Jinchuriki down on the sand gently before standing up. I will not let you take away Naruto-kun. Never, she declared with fire in her eyes which were radiating determination and the will to protect someone close to her as she widened her legs while rearing her fully opened fan back, her chakra levels rising while Roshi just stood there as he was now looking at her with those blank orbs. Kamedachi no Jutsu, cutting whirlwind technique, she yelled before a powerful slicing wind wave flew towards the Gobi Jinchuriki, who went through a couple of hand seals with his hands only visible as blurs to Temari. Finishing them at the tiger hand seal, he muttered. Kaden. Ryuka no Jutsu, fire release. Dragon fire technique, before releasing a dragon-shaped fire attack from his mouth which was, although small in size but extremely fast as it quickly covered the distance before colliding with the wind attack. Shit, he can use fire element, thought Temari in midway as she jumped out of the way with Naruto in her arms, avoiding the now much powerful fire dragon which crashed into the sand, creating a small crater which made the area black-gray due to the attack. So Temari's actually helping us in this. I guess she was forced to take part in this attack. Though I'm glad that she's keeping safe Naruto-kun for now. I have to finish here quickly. Who knows how strong that guy is, thought Hana as they continued to fight the enemies. Konoha. Main event stadium. Four-corner ceiling barrier. Here we find a smirking Orochimaru standing besides Hashirama, Tobirama and two other mysterious figures which Mayana had trouble identifying, although Kushina and Hiruzen were a whole different story. Who are these two? Asked as he stared at the first one, who was a beautiful woman. Well, both of them were beautiful women. The first was a redhead who wore an elaborate high-collared light blue kimono with her hair arranged in buns with violet hair pins in them and 3 clips in the front, along with what appeared to be ceiling tags in her hair decals. The most interesting thing was that she had a diamond mark on her forehead, similar to that of a certain slug Sannin, and red lipstick on her lips while her skin was milk creamy just like Kushina. The second one had black onyx eyes with her hair being black, her skin smooth porcelain which almost looked to be glowing with no blemishes whatsoever. She was wearing civilian clothes with two black bangs framing her heart-shaped beautiful face. Where am I? What's happening? Exclaimed the black-haired woman, wide eyes as she looked around frantically before her eyes landed on Kushina and Hiruzen. Kushina-chan, Hokage-sama, she questioned with confusion in her eyes before hearing another feminine voice besides her. Kushina-chan. The redhead muttered in shock while Kushina just looked at them with tears in her eyes, whereas Hiruzen too was just rooted to his spot. You Uzumaki Mito, Makoto-chan. Both Hiruzen and Kushina stuttered with shocked expressions on their faces as they now faced who had been dead for years now. Gee, they look exactly the same as the last time I saw them. Mito-sama, muttered Kushina as she saw the young form of the elder Uzumaki with wide eyes, many memories flashing through her mind like a playback, only in an instant this time. Kushina-chan, what's going on? Where's Itachi-kun and Sasuke-kun? Where's Fugaku? What's happening here? Makoto said frantically with a confused expression when Mito spoke in a calm voice. It seems that someone summoned us, or revived us from the dead. Just as Makoto was about to say something, both of their eyes widened before they became blank after a few seconds. Kukukuku, I think that's enough reunion for now, said the snake with a smirk after he had pushed the special seal talismans in their heads via kunai. Those seals, I remember those, they were designed by the Nadaime when he was creating this technique, thought Kushina as she had seen the seals with her Sharingan. He must have given them some command, I guess they are under his control, the Uzumaki redhead thought as she prepared herself for the fight of her life, for she knew how much strong the supposed dead Uchiha and the Uzumaki were. Kushina, you would be just wasting your chakra. They would just regenerate like before. And we would be just wasting our chakra. This is the technique that Tobirama-sensei created. And I know at least the basic mechanics of it. Orochimaru has dragged their souls from the pure world here, this impure world, it's all about souls. Fuinjutsu, that's the only counter against this technique. Right now, Orochimaru has complete control over them, explained Hiruzen with Enma in the form of staff in his hands while Mei and nodded besides him with grim expressions on their faces, taking all of the information in. I know Gigi, I too studied about this technique, but I need some time to think of the counter seals which can override Orochimaru's commands. Those seal tags which he placed in their heads, it's the core of this technique. If I can somehow replace those commands, we can win here. And possibly, actually revive these guys, she whispered back, making Hiruzen snap his head towards her, his eyes as wide as possible. What? Are you serious? The aged Hokage whispered back, making Kushina nod ever so slightly with a serious expression on her face. Before Naru-kun's birth, when I was studying Nadaime-sama's notes for this technique. I had created a complex seal which would help me stick the souls of those revived through Edo Tensei to the sacrificed bodies permanently. In other words, they become alive. It's all about the magic of Fuinjutsu. Basically, the seal I created cuts their soul ties to the pure world and makes them reside in their bodies just like when they were alive, she again whispered while Orochimaru had a confident smirk on his face, enjoying the tense look on his sensei's face. Then why didn't you revive them earlier? Whispered the professor with an incredulous expression on his face. You're not getting this completely. For my revival seal to work, you first have to revive the dead person by the Edo Tensei. I just didn't have the heart to sacrifice one person to bring back another one, she muttered, making the Sandaime smirk at her. I never knew you could come this far, Kushina, you really are something. You sure are the mother of the child of prophecy, he thought before releasing his breath he involuntarily was holding during her explanation. But don't get your hopes up completely, Gigi, the seal I created is correct only in theory, I've never tried it actually. Besides, it takes 4 to 5 days to create such complex seal. Right now, I just have to think of a seal which can nullify the sealing tag that bastard put in their heads. I need some time here, Gigi, she whispered while A and Mei could only wonder what these were bickering about at a time like this. It's useless, sensei. You can't defeat this technique. Ask the Raikage and Mizukage for reference if you want, spoke Orochimaru with a chuckle, making a grit his teeth. Pissed. Mei, listen to me. Don't try to defeat them for now, just concentrate on dodging and preserving your chakra. I just need some time here, said Kushina to the Raikage and Mizukage in a low tone, making them look at her in surprise. How do you plan on defeating them? They are practically immortal. Nothing damages them even remotely, said as he promptly cancelled his lightning armor while Mei too had a confused expression, making Kushina grin at the duo. Just trust me here, or do you have anything else in your mind? She asked with a smirk, making a sigh while Mei just smiled back at her. I trust you, Kushina-san, said the Mizukage. Fine then, guess I'll have to follow your lead this time, he said with a grunt while Kushina turned her head back, already racking her mind for a seal which could stop this kinjutsu. I'll have to create a new one here, start from the fresh. I know the design of the seal Orochimaru used perfectly, but still it would take time even for me to devise a counter seal amidst a battle like this, she thought, all the while raising her chakra levels. Raikage Dono and Mizukage Dono should be used to each other's fighting styles by now, and they can fight Hashirama-sama and Tobirama-sensei effectively. Kushina, you take on Orochimaru since you can easily match him, while I will fight Mito-sama and Makoto, said the professor, making A and Mei nod. No, what? Asked Sarutobi in confusion as he stared at her. You take on Orochimaru? I think you're underestimating Mito-sama and Makoto-chan here. Don't forget that we're talking about an ex-Jinchuriki and the Kami no Kawarimi. It would be best if I handle them. I know their fighting styles, especially Makoto-chan's, Kushina said with her eyes getting icy cold, her chakra level still rising, making Mei look at her in surprise. I guess I forgot just how much chakra a fully developed Uzumaki can possess, she thought with amazement on her face, while Orochimaru too had an impressed expression on his face. Let's begin the show, though I'll give you guys a chance to get ready considering you're dying today anyway, the Sannin declared with a cocky smile as he himself released cage-level killer intent, which had the sound for sweating bullets as they could feel it from outside the barrier too. Oh, you're gonna regret this, you freak, muttered Kushina to herself with a smirk before she went through 3 hand seals. Tendrils of her long red began to rise while defying gravity due to the amount of chakra she was releasing. There's no point in holding back now, I guess. I'm going all out, Gigi, Mei. So I advise you guys to keep distance from me, cause to keep up with these two simultaneously. I'll have to get wild here. Kai! Exclaimed Kushina before a crater started to form beneath her feet, her sky blue chakra suddenly flaring around her, creating strong whirling gusts of wind while the 3 cages had jumped farther away from her. Such power! Kushina, you never cease to amaze me no matter how many times I see you go all out, thought Hiruzen as they were shielding their eyes due to the dust. Even I have to admit, she's in a whole other league just like Itachi, muttered Orochimaru to himself as he watched the impressive display of chakra that was flaring around Kushina, her violet eyes glowing sky blue in color due to so much chakra, with the tips of her hair defying gravity. The wild chakra though slowly started to dissipate, condensing itself, which looked to be slowly being absorbed by Kushina with the wind dying down. Kushina released a calming breath as she stood up straight with a smirk on her face, her eyes still glowing sky blue before it died down to show the red sclera with 2 black tomos indicating the Sharingan, the earlier visible chakra now no longer visible to anyone. Alright, let's get the show started, she said with fire in her eyes, while on the other hand, unbeknownst to anyone, she had sneakily created a shadow clone and had it transform into a pebble, which was doing the thinking part as to how the seal should be created. Oh, how I love the memory transfer ability of shadow clones so much, she mused with a smirk. Things were looking their way now after all. Though unknown to her, her son lover was a whole different ball game right now. Konoha. Main event stadium. He could no longer hear the voice of Ayumi, his vision was blurry with only faint sounds of panting of Temari and occasional blasts in the stadium reaching his ears. He tried to move, to lift his arm, but it looked like his whole body was numb, no longer under his control. The only thing he could feel were the sand grains beneath him, shuffling every second due to the endless fighting and explosions which were rocking the stadium. I've got to do something. I cannot let things happen like this. I'm just being a burden on Temari and everyone else. That red-haired guy, I can sense that he's a Jinchuriki too. Temari. She wouldn't stand a chance against him, he would kill her, thought Naruto as his heart clenched at the thought of his loved ones dying, all the more while trying to protect him. Damn you, growled Temari while panting heavily. She was sporting several cuts on her sky blue attire while there were several bruises on her skin. I'm at a complete disadvantage against this guy. He's using both fire and earth release techniques against me. My wind attacks don't stand any chance against his fire ones, while there is plenty of sand here for his earth element, which he's hardening by using his chakra. What do I do? All of my attacks are long range, which are wind based. My taijutsu, well, it has improved over the month because of Hinata-chan, but this guy's at least an elite Junin, I can tell. So in nutshell, I've no hopes of defeating him, but I have to protect Naruto-kun. Guess the only thing I can do here is stall this guy and hope that help arrives soon, the Suna Kunoichi thought with a grim expression, while we find a completely unharmed Roshi standing a few meters away from her, whereas Naruto-too was laying 2 or 3 meters behind her. Gritting her teeth, Temari closed her open fan to make it look like a metallic staff, getting ready into her taijutsu stance when she saw Roshi dashing towards her at much greater speeds than before. I can barely see him, she thought in panic before narrowly dodging a punch aimed at her face sideways. Her eyes widened though when she saw his knee coming towards her gut before she blocked it with her closed fan just in time, pushing her backwards because of the power in the blow. Roshi though didn't give her any time to recuperate as he again dashed, his speed again greater than before, and was barely visible even as a blur to Temari. "Aah!" she exclaimed in pain when Roshi punched her in the gut out of nowhere, her eyes widening in immense pain as she spat blood with a mixture of saliva. Completely thrown off by punch, she wasn't able to dodge the kick, which impacted the side of her head at breakneck speeds, making her fly back before she skidded onto the sandy surface and came to a halt just beside the laying form of Naruto, whose eyes widened when he saw her blurry injured form. "Temari, please, go away, please, you'll die," the blonde stuttered while panting as he tried to sit up but failed due to his elbows giving out, his eyes now half open, which were filled with pain and desperation as he saw the bruised form of Temari, who was panting in exhaustion, blood seeping down her chin from her mouth. "And no, I can't leave you. If I die protecting you, then so be it," she said while shakily standing up, her knees trembling as she held her head in pain as she stumbled on her feet. Meanwhile Naruto's mind was going haywire as he watched her blurry figure trying to protect him, putting her life on the line just to protect his useless life right now. "Why is this happening to me? I trained so hard, why? Didn't I had enough during my childhood? Why do I have to go through such pain? I want to protect her, I want to protect them. I have the strength. Then why can't I use it? Is this the work of that woman who I just met? But no matter, I will not give up. I just can't give up here," he thought as his heart started to race faster, his breathing rate as fast as it could go, while he could feel his heart practically thumping in his chest. He could feel something foreign. It was faint, but it was getting stronger with each moment of desperation. Right now, his body was only running on adrenaline as he slowly moved his hand. He could feel it, he could feel some strength coming from that foreign feeling as he shakily tried to sit up. "And Naruto-kun," Temari exclaimed in surprise as she watched him struggling, his elbows trembling, but nonetheless, he was slowly lifting himself up to sit, his eyes clenched shut as he gritted his teeth. How is he even able to move? Moments ago, he wasn't even able to lift a finger, she thought with widened eyes as she herself was struggling to stand. "Come on, just a little more. Move, I have to protect her." The blonde motivated himself inwardly as he now pushed himself to stand, his heart thumping in his chest, though he still noticed that he had almost negligible chakra in his coils, which had brought him to another question. How the hell was he even alive with so little chakra? He didn't know, but he could feel some of his strength returning back as pushed as much strength into his knees as he could. "Naruto, what are you doing? You're clearly in no condition to even stand, let alone fight," yelled Temari with an angry expression on her face as she supported his now standing form, his knees trembling, struggling to support his weight. "I wouldn't let you die. You can't. Not when I'm alive," the blonde said, making her fume in frustration as to why was he being so stubborn. "Just shut up. Look at you, you're a mess with barely any strength left. Would you stop being stubborn for once?" she exclaimed with her eyes reflecting pain, anger as well as concern for him. Naruto though, just ignored as he slowly opened his eyes before he turned his head when he heard her gasp. "And Naruto, your eyes, they're glowing," she muttered quietly in shock while Naruto just couldn't hear her clearly enough as his senses were still mostly shaggy. Well well, what do we have here? Temari snapped her head for her eyes to widen when she saw who was standing beside Roshi with a smirk on his face. You. What do you want now? She growled with narrowed eyes while Naruto too narrowed his eyes upon recognizing the blurry figure and his voice. Sasuke, came the rasped voice of the panting blonde as his arm was slung over Temari's shoulder, who herself wasn't doing much better. Naruto, what happened to you? Said the Uchiha with his usual smirk not present on his face as he analyzed the blonde's condition, his black onyx eyes widening when he saw his old teammate's eyes glowing white in color. What's happening here? The Dobi has almost no chakra left, but then, he should have died due to such low chakra levels. There's something wrong here. Naruto doesn't seem to have any physical injuries on his body yet he's standing like he fought 3 cages at once, the Uchiha thought with a grim expression with his Sharingan active, who was wearing the sound robes just like the Sound 4 with a katana on his back before he eyed the Iwa standing beside him warily. And this guy, probably here to capture Naruto. Danzo does want the Dobi after all, but I too have to kill the Dobi to obtain the Mangekyo. I'll have to do this carefully and swiftly, thought the Uchiha before a smirk formed on his face while Temari and Naruto were gritting their teeth. This isn't looking good, thought Naruto obviously when his eyes widened upon hearing a foreign voice, but that familiar voice inside his head. So Uzumaki, enjoying yourself? He heard her feminine voice before she giggled. So you're the one causing this? What did you do to me? And how are you talking to me telepathically? Growled Naruto inside his head when he heard her amused voice. I did nothing to you, Naruto. Whatever is happening to you is bound to happen and at the same time necessary. The one who holds the rinnegan, descendant of the Raikudo Sennin, his path is never easy. It is full of pain, hatred, struggle and suffering. It's your choice though what path you take, either you become what we call a good ninja or a bad ninja. And as for me talking in your mind, well, let's just say it's one of many abilities of my race. Race? Are you telling me that you're not a human? That's enough for now, Uzumaki, you're in a critical condition now. From here, either you die painfully or you reach the next level, it all depends on you. But how? I'm trying my hardest, but I don't have any strength left, nothing. I'm barely even able to stand myself, earlier I couldn't even do that much. He spoke in frustration inwardly before he immediately heard her speak. Then where did you get the strength to stand up if earlier you couldn't even lift a finger? Just remember what I said, Naruto. And if it means anything to you, which I'm sure it doesn't right now. I'm sorry for all the suffering you are going through right now. But you are the child of prophecy, and that path is never easy. See you later. He heard her serious voice turn jovial at the end when everything went quiet inside his head as he zoomed his concentration out to find Sasuke still standing with a serious expression on his face besides Roshi. What did she meant earlier? I don't even know where I got the strength to stand earlier, thought Naruto, his brain working a mile per second as he concentrated on every word she had said to him. Remember what I told you, Uzumaki. His eyes widened when he remembered. Naruto, keep your loved ones close. Of course, she was referring to that, but I still don't get it. I have my loved ones, and they are very close to me, I'll do anything to protect them. Damn it, I can't even contact Ayumi-chan for help now. The blonde screamed in his head in frustration as he continued to think, the current situation not helping his mind calm at all. Dobi, I was really looking forward to our battle. But I guess, the road ends here for you, said Sasuke as he closed his eyes while he slowly unsheathed his katana having a metallic blue blade. Hey. And why you would have most probably lost. Why you don't have any idea what I'm capable of, said Naruto with a painful grin as he continued to pant, his eyes half-lidded while Temari held onto him tighter. Naruto-kun, I wouldn't leave you, she mentally chanted while praying that by some miracle, the blonde besides her becomes healthy and starts kicking ass like she knew he would have done. She just wanted for him to be alright, that's all. He had helped her so much in the past month and had always cheered her whenever she was feeling down, and Naruto had created a special place for himself in her heart. Sadly we can't find out now, can we? Stated Sasuke while Naruto himself was wondering where did the cocky and always overconfident Uchiha he knew go. The one in front of him was a calm and a calculative shinobi who definitely was waiting for the moment to make his move. Capture Uzumaki Naruto. Sasuke turned his pupils sideways to see the guy muttering to himself as if he was on autopilot. I still can't believe nor do know how that old hawk is controlling a Jinchuriki while sitting far away from here, thought Sasuke with his katana in front of him as he started to charge lightning-natured chakra through his katana, making it glow while lightning streaks started to dance around the metal. Meanwhile, Temari's eyes widened when she saw Sasuke use lightning element. I just may have my chance here. I can use that lightning to my advantage in collaboration with my wind attacks, thought the Suna Kunoichi as she sneakily clicked her fan open a bit while Sasuke immediately picked her moments with the Sharingan. So, she's that wind element user from the preliminaries, he thought before turning his head to the Jinchuriki standing beside him. If you want Naruto, then let me capture him while you take care of the girl, cause you can easily counter her attacks, he said, with the only response him getting was the blank face of Roshi, making him smirk inwardly. Perfect, Sasuke exclaimed in his mind before he dashed towards Naruto in a blur, completely vanishing from Temari's sight before appearing in front of Naruto much to her surprise. Before she could even lift a finger, the blonde was punched in the gut, making him fly back in pain before he skidded to a halt. Naruto, yelled Anko with an in between her fighting when she saw him being hit by Sasuke, making the blonde fly back, who was now holding his stomach in pain, his condition already worse for the wear. No, we have to do something, yelled Hana in panic while Kurenai and Yugao were trying their level best to go down, but it seemed that the shinobi in front of them were keeping them busy. Even if they were elite Junins and prodigies, fighting against Junins while being outnumbered was something that took toll even on some of the cages. Anko, Guy is releasing his celestial gates, he will take care of the ones you're fighting, so as soon as you find an opening, you know what to do, the copy nin yelled, making Anko nod as she was now in a clash with a Suna Junin, both of their kunai now rubbing against each other, making sparks fly out due to the force. You think we'll let you? He said fiercely with a serious expression, making Anko narrow her eyes before she completely stopped the force from her side, making the guy fell forwards. Bending back with amazing speed and an agility that only a Kunoichi possessed, she planted her feet on his chest, making his eyes widen while supporting her body weight on two arms before flipping backside with a breakneck speed, making the Junin fly back to crash into the wall due to an extremely well-executed monkey flip. And I dare you to try, you bastard, she growled before dodging yet another one of those random attacks which were coming one after another, making her grit her teeth in frustration before she looked in the direction of Guy to see him power up. Hurry up, Guy, we don't have much time, thought Kurenai, who along with Yugao were taking on most of the enemies, with Kakashi giving the green-clad the required backup for the time he needed to release open the gates. After all, even 1 second of lost concentration could result in instant death here. Ah! Naruto writhed in pain as he held his stomach due to the hilt of Sasuke's katana being thrusted there painfully, while Temari just had a shocked expression on her face as she continued to watch where Naruto was standing just a second ago, now replaced by Sasuke, who was just ignoring her and was staring forward. Damn you, Sasuke, thought the whiskered Jinchuriki as he tried to endure the pain which he should have barely felt, but it seemed like his pain receptors were amplified to further his misery. Are these the effects of having the rinnegan? Is this the reason why I was jumping with joy when I came to know I had a bloodline? What's the fucking use when I'm just lying here like a loser while Temari is putting her life on the line for me? Why, just as life was beginning to finally look up for me, this had to happen. Why can't I have a chance at some happy memories too? No, I do have memories, happy ones. I spent so much time with Ka-san. I still remember our first time and all the following ones, the blonde thought as he lay motionless in the small crater created due to his fall. We pranked together, so many pranks, putting Asuma's beard on fire with his own lighter while he was sleeping. Sunscreen lotion in Anko-chan's dango, drenching Yugao-chan's katana in black tar. Hiding Kurenai-chan's bras and panties for a week. Attaching some sealed firecrackers to Gigi's pipe. We did crazy things, but it was fun, the brightest and happiest month of my life. Kin-chan, Hinata-chan, Ino-chan, Sakura-chan, we guys trained together, laughed together and had so much fun. The make-out session Anko-chan and I had this morning in an alley just before coming here, I cherish all these memories. But, I just can't, Bear the thought of not seeing you guys ever again. I still have my dreams, my ambition, my village. I don't want to die. I want to protect you. All of you, he mentally said to himself while staring upwards into the blue sky, unknowingly a few tears streaming down his bruised face as he thought about the best month of his life, wetting the dry sand grains. Dhak. 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 Naruto's tear-filled eyes began to widen when he felt his heart-beating rate abruptly go up again, his chest thumping up and down as he stared wide-eyed at the endless blue horizon which was slowly becoming clearer by the second. What's happening to me now? He thought in panic, already expecting something even worse to happen to him this time. It's happening, it's finally happening, the cloaked female said to herself as she gazed at Naruto from above, her eyes glowing blue in color. You fucking asshole! Yelled Temari after getting over her initial shock as she went for a punch at the Uchiha's head besides her when suddenly, she felt the insides of her stomach twist upon taking a bone-crushing punch to her gut before she went back at whizzing speeds in midair, coughing out blood as she crashed again near where the blonde was laying. Naruto, who was confused as to what was happening to him, turned his head with a snap when he heard a whimper. Achha! She whimpered through gritted teeth, transparent liquid coming out of her eyes as she tried to bear the unavoidable pain she was feeling in her stomach, which was hit twice in the same area. Temari! The blonde immediately exclaimed as he himself continued to hold his stomach, his heartbeat still rising as he noticed his breathing rate again quicken like before. Naruto. I'm sorry. Her rasped voice came from her whimpering form, which was curled up due to the unbearable pain. Naruto's pupil though started to zoom out as he stared at her injured form. She who was now dying just so he could stay safe. His eyes started to glow even more now as his hair too started to waver in midair, the blonde flocks glowing a bit while unknown to Naruto, who was only concentrated on the girl in front of her. His senses started to open up. His vision becoming less and less blurry by the second, his hearing, his strength, he could feel his strength returning. No, I'm sorry Temari, I wouldn't let you die, never. I'm gonna protect you. The blonde said to her as finally, miraculously, he moved his hand to cup her cheeks when he suddenly felt that foreign feeling magnifying in the core of his chakra network. Yes, just a little more, he just needs one more push, the white-haired female said to herself, her voice lacing with excitement. Meanwhile, Sasuke's eyes widened when he saw that slowly, out of nowhere, white chakra started to slowly flow in his what earlier seemed to be empty coils while Roshi, who was standing beside him after punching Temari, just remained motionless. What the fuck? Just what the hell is going on here? Where is that chakra coming from? He was empty some moments ago. And why is his hair and eyes glowing now? I should just kill him and finish this nuisance. Who knows what will he pull of later? Sasuke thought as he sneakily eyed Roshi standing beside him, his katana still charged with electricity. Now, the Uchiha mentally exclaimed before he jumped high into the air at impressive speeds, chakra beneath his feet. His Sharingan spinning wildly, Sasuke took out a seal parchment, in the middle of which was the black inked kanji for lightning. Attaching it to the metal of his katana, he tapped the seal to activate it before throwing the lightning-charged katana at mind-boggling speeds towards Naruto, whose senses were still improving. I gotta stand up, thought the blonde, who was now on his knees, unknown to the attack that was launched onto him, while he could feel his chakra levels again rising. Naruto, his eyes widened upon hearing a familiar scream when. Whoosh, squelch, that bitch, exclaimed Sasuke in anger as he landed onto the sand with an enraged expression. What? Exclaimed Naruto in shock while his knees gave out, making him fall on his butt as he looked towards the one standing in front of him. The metallic blue metal, which was streaming with electricity now coated red, protruding out of the stomach of the female in front of him. Why you okay, Whiskers-chan? She asked while gritting her teeth in pain as she could feel her body getting numb due to the current. Enko-chan, Naruto said with wide eyes as his hands began to tremble, his lower lip quivering while the pupil in his glowing eyes started to vibrate, all the alarm systems in his body going off the charts. Ah! She screamed in pain as she removed the sword from her stomach before throwing it sideways. Enko-chan! Naruto yelled in panic, fear filling every fiber of his being as he immediately lunged at her falling body, His own body regaining some mobility back which he didn't notice at the time. Naru-kun, thanked Kami, you're okay. The snake mistress spoke weakly while breathing harshly, blood seeping out of her mouth as she coughed occasionally. Enko-chan. Why? What were you thinking? Yelled Naruto in panic, his hands trembling as he tried to stop the blood flow from his bare hands, but it only increased her pain. What do I do? What do I do? I can't, she's dying. I have to do something. The Jinchuriki thought in panic, tears streaming down his face as he held his head. Why? He yelled to himself as unending stream of tears dropped from his chin when he felt a cold hand on his cheek. Opening his eyes, he saw her smile, that beautiful smile of her which made his heart flutter every time he saw it. Don't see cry Naru-kun. I'm happy. I'm dying. Cough, while protecting you, she said as blood continued to seep down her chin just like Naruto's tears. Enko-chan, please don't die. Wouldn't be able to live without you, he said in a quivering voice, no longer caring about his own life, his heart breaking as he looked at her slowly becoming pale face. Baka, you have others. Kashina ne, Kurenai-chan, yug. It doesn't matter. He yelled abruptly, slowly losing himself as now white chakra started to seep out his skin slowly, unknown to him. Hugging her closer to him, her head to his chest, he spoke softly. It doesn't matter. Every one of you is important. Each one of you is important. I can't bear the thought of losing anyone of you. I just can't lose you Enko-chan, he said as the white chakra continued to seep out from his body unknown to both of them. His eyes clenched shut as he hugged her tightly to his body, the river of his tears not stopping its flow while Enko too took comfort in the warmth he was providing. Sayonara Naru-kun, and remember, Dango will always be better than ramen, she muttered with a barely audible chuckle. Guess, this was as far as it was meant to be, and I'm glad I got to be with Naru-kun, she thought with a peaceful smile, her life slowly fading away while now tendrils of the white glowing chakra were rotating around Naruto slowly. What's going on? Spoke a shell-shocked Sasuke as he stared wide-eyed at Naruto with his Sharingan. Enko-chan, damn it, muttered Kurenai as she continued to fight, tears streaming down her face but still continuing to fight like a true kunoichi, not letting her emotions slow her down. The same was happening with other fire queens, Kakashi and Guy. Meanwhile, Naruto was having a mental breakdown as he saw the life slowly leave her eyes, her skin becoming pale while he could feel his chakra returning to him full force, but he just ignored the magnified feeling of sereneness and peacefulness he was feeling this time, much greater than before. I can't let her die. She means so much to me. I have to do something. Anything. The blonde thought in desperation as the world around him slowed down. The only thing he could hear was his heartbeat, his adrenaline pumping as he could feel the chakra which was slowly filling up his coils reach his optical coils and finally to his eyes. Boom. A shockwave impacted the cores of the arena as a strong, extremely strong wave of white glowing chakra swept over the stadium like a dome, making everyone feel like an earthquake had struck. Glasses broke violently everywhere in the stadium while Sasuke was shielding his eyes from the dust which was induced due to the crater that was formed where Naruto was sitting. What's happening? Kakashi? Asked Hana in surprise as everyone momentarily stopped fighting, stunned expressions on their faces as they stared at the large amount of tendrils of white glowing chakra which was revolving around a specific spot covered by dust. I don't know. Something happened to Naruto. His chakra levels are skyrocketing, they are off the charts. All I can see in that dust sphere is white, nothing else, the copy nin said as he stared at vast amounts of chakra what was revolving around the dust cloud. It was like a display of fireworks while almost every shinobi could feel the chakra spike even a mile away. It's Naruto's, thought Jiraiya with widened eyes who right now was standing on Gamabunta at the east gate. This is Naruto-sama's chakra. It feels so strong yet, it's so calm and peaceful, muttered Kiyohime to herself as she stared in the direction of where the chakra was coming off, worry clearly reflecting in her bright grand orbs for the blonde whom she admired and, cough, that would be personal. Roshi though, through it all just kept standing like a machine whereas Sasuke had lost his footing due to the shockwave and was standing much behind the Iwa Jinchuriki. How does that Dobi possess that much power? he was just a crippled genin seconds ago, the Uchiha thought in frustration as he prepared himself, seeing as the dust cloud was now slowly dissipating. It's done. Mission accomplished, I guess. Now let's see some ass-kicking, shall we? The white-haired lady said to herself with a smile. Meanwhile, the tendrils of glowing white chakra too started to converge at one place inside the dust before they completely vanished, but almost everyone could see the glowing form of a sitting figure through the dust. And with nature's call, that is, with a gust of wind, the dust completely cleared for them to see a heavenly white glow emanate from the blonde sitting with his back towards their white eyes, making them shield their eyes because of the unearthly glow, especially the ones who were on the sand-covered battle arena. Kakashi, is Naruto and Anko all right, and Temai too? Said Yugao with a worried expression. Oh, Naruto's fine, all right, much better than fine actually. But Anko and that girl, I'm not sure, I can't distinguish their chakra networks. Naruto's chakra is still practically flowing in the air down there, he said as they waited with bated breath, as if it was a climax scene of a killer suspense movie with the Iwa, Suna and Konoha shinobi rejoicing together. All fighting in the arena had stopped as they waited for the glow to die down. What do you think happened? Did he lost control or something? Said Yugito, who was trying to see past the glow. I don't know, but I love the 9-0, cause he fights like macho, he exclaimed with enthusiasm. Bonk. Is he a gay or something? Thought Karui with a sweat drop, cause this was the worst of his raps she had ever heard. Idiot, muttered Yugito as she rubbed her fist after hitting him, her eyes still twitching at the monstrosity he called Enka. Is this glow ever going to die down? Suddenly yelled one of the Junin in the stadium, his voice reverberating, making everyone sweat drop at him. What a jerk, thought Sasuke while shaking his head before the white started to go down, now no longer present as everyone's eyes took some time to adjust to the sudden change in light. Sasuke though could see through his Sharingan and wasn't surprised much to see Naruto's coils overflowing with that same cursed white chakra. Though, much to the Uchiha's frustration, the blonde's figure was still glowing a bit while his spiky hair looked like they were white due to the shine. Kakashi though picked up the details, making his eyes widen. He's giving her his chakra, she's still alive. But, how can his chakra heal her wounds at such tremendous rate? It wasn't possible before. Though Kakashi in shock as he watched Anko's coils now filled with white chakra, in the mix of which were the traces of her blue-colored chakra. During the 1-month training, Kushina had discovered that Naruto's chakra was special in more than one way. They had found out that the white chakra was compatible with anyone's body, it was just like an O group blood which could be donated to anyone. And she found sense in it considering Raikudo Sennin's chakra was very special, and all the techniques, and most importantly chakra, was discovered by him. So it was like Naruto's chakra was universal, and could be given to anyone. Well, at least to those 10 to 15 people they had given his chakra to when they were injured or something. Anko-chan, you will not die, said Naruto gently, whose one glowing hand was on the wound on her stomach, his chakra healing her wound at unseen rates in medical science while Anko's skin color was slowly returning back to normal. Naru-kun, he heard her whimper as she slowly fluttered her eyes open, before closing them suddenly due to his glowing form. Naruto smiled fondly when she fluttered her eyes cutely to adjust to the light while he held her tighter. Anko-chan, he whispered as he traced his hand on her cheek, making her blush a bit as she unconsciously leaned into his touch. Using a half-ram seal quietly, Naruto created a shadow clone which stood in front of his back, ready for any sneak attacks either by Roshi or by Sasuke, a cold expression on his face. Anko though, finally adjusting to the light, had her eyes widened when she saw his glowing figure, his calm smile making her heart flutter as she saw his tear-stained face, his hair glowing white now. Though she did a backflip upon seeing his eyes, the rinnegan was activated all right, but he had 2 black rings now, the dotted one now replaced by a completely black ring. He ascended, she thought with a stunned expression while Naruto just kept looking at her, the one who had jumped without a thought in front of the sword to save him. He then glanced fondly towards an unconscious Temari who just lay in front of him. There, all done, he said with a smile after withdrawing his hand from her stomach, making Anko's eyes wide yet again. How did you? There was hole, she stuttered when suddenly she found the blonde's lips on hers, making her blush furiously, before she closed her eyes and kissed him back. However, She was taken aback by the passion with which he was hungrily tasting her lips, nibbling on her lower lip, making her moan, pouring all of his love for her. Leaning back, he was satisfied to see a dazed expression on Anko's face, her cheeks a cute shade of red. Well, his kisses did always left her like that, even simplest of his touches made her feel like she was on cloud 9. I'm so glad I didn't lose you, Anko-chan. I don't know what would I have done if I had lost you, he said while hugging her tightly to her, making her blush furiously yet again. Naru-kun, we're in the middle of a war, she stuttered, making Naruto scratch the back of his glowing back head sheepishly before he gently released her. Stay here for a while, he said softly before he stood up, flexing his hands, a surprised expression slowly forming on his face. This feeling, it's incredible. I feel stronger, much stronger than before, and my chakra, it's amazing, thought the blonde with a smile as he took a step forward before bending down beside an injured Temari. Fuck this, he's treating us like we're not even here, growled Sasuke before he dashed at blinding speeds towards the clone first, who just stood there, dust trailing behind him. Wait, said Naruto quietly to his clone, not taking his eyes off of Temari, his left hand already healing her when he lifted his right hand towards an approaching Sasuke. Let me try, said Naruto in a low tone, his palm facing Sasuke, making the Uchiha's eyes widen when he recognized what the blonde was doing. He's pulling that same gravitational technique of his. Gotta dodge it, it comes as a wave of chakra every time, thought Sasuke, having possibly devised a counter against the almighty technique. Naruto though didn't say anything, rather released a concentrated blast of gravitational force at Sasuke. His chakra visible now even by naked eye, but the main problem was the speed at which the attack headed towards the Uchiha, who didn't even have any time to blink before he was pushed back at what you could call double breakneck speeds, his own flying form a blur to anyone who could be trying to locate the Uchiha, who flew back to collide into several trees in a small foliage which was at the other end of the sandy battle arena there. Wow, my techniques are much more effective now, they are stronger as well as faster than before. But I can't retain this form any longer, have to heal Temari quickly, thought Naruto just before he noticed that he had completely healed her already, but she was still unconscious due to chakra exhaustion earlier. I'm glad you're okay, Temari-chan, thought the blonde as he fondly rubbed her cheek before taking a calm breath, the white glow dying down around him as he returned to normal with his blue eyes and blonde hair. Standing up, he slowly walked forward. Just wait a minute, Anko-chan, you rest for a while as you lost quite the amount of blood back then. But for now, I'm gonna take care of these two, spoke Naruto while Anko picked up the barely repressed anger and rage behind his tone. Well, happy ass kicking then, Whiskers-chan, the snake mistress said weakly with a smile, making Naruto smirk back before he became completely serious as he began to walk forward, impressed to see the Uchiha land besides a blank-faced Roshi, though he could see the black marks of the curse seal on his skin. Oh, well done Uzumaki Naruto. So it finally happened, eh? Let's see how far you have reached combined with the training you received under your Ka-san, the mysterious cloaked female thought to herself with a smile. Even with 3 tomos, you couldn't see my attack, said Naruto with a smirk as he continued to walk forward while his shadow clone, which he put quite a chakra in, was standing in guard for Anko and Temari. Shoot up, loser, growled Sasuke as dark purple chakra started to leak out of the enraged Uchiha, who had quite some bruises, blood flowing down his forehead while his robes were torn in several places. Naruto though immediately lost his smirk, involuntarily the images of an injured Anko and Temari flashing through his mind, making him clench his fists tightly. Raising his own chakra levels, with his white chakra now flaring around his body as a small crater formed beneath his feet, he growled with a cold tone that sent chills down the Uchiha's spine, his index finger pointing in their directions. You're going down, both of you. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, as well as checking out the author on fanfiction.net.